It's about my people. Have you ever heard of the Stone of Souls?
No. Worth a lot?
No. I mean, yes. It's priceless, but it's not for sale.
I'm not sure I follow you.
I'll explain. Every elf possesses a Stone of Souls, which contains the memories and emotions from all the greatest moments of his life. These stones are passed from generation to generation. It's a way of preserving the memories of our people and of honoring our ancestors. With all of those who died at Carolthas, there are thousands of stones abandoned in the city. We cannot just leave them there. You're no doubt the one who will be traveling to our city the most. If you could bring back as many of them as possible, I'd be eternally grateful. Actually, all of my people will be in your debt. At least the ones who still live.
All right, I'll take care of it. But don't expect to see me dancing around with a wheelbarrow full of rocks.
That would in fact be an amusing sight. But I do get your meaning. Whenever you can, check the bodies of elves you come across and collect the stones. Even if we manage to save only a very few, we will at least preserve some of the memories of my people.
I'll see what I can do. Let's change the subject. I have a few questions I need to ask you. I'm guessing this is not the way you'd always imagined coming back to your lands.
For years now, I've been waiting for the day when I could go back to my city. But deep inside, I've dreaded this moment. If I was ever coming back home, it could only mean one of two things. Either I'd been captured by my people, or I'd been forgiven because I was right. I would have preferred being captured. My city has fallen, and I do not recognize it.
This is no time to feel sorry for yourself. This war is not over yet, and your people need you now more than ever.
We have been swept away. There is no more army, no more supply base, and nothing left to fight for.
How long have you been harassing the Deadwalker army without getting caught by your people?
Nearly 7 years.
7 years of guerrilla warfare, and you're still here. You know exactly how Carolthas is laid out. You are going to be essential in the days to come.
Perhaps. We shall see.
Let's change the subject. I haven't been able to find any yet.
If you wouldn't mind continuing the search, I would be truly grateful. Some of the stones might have been found already, but I'm certain that others remain.
I'll leave you here. Do you have a moment? I wanted to ask you a few things. What do you know about Carolthas?
It's a very ancient city, far more ancient than it appears. The elves are master preservers of architecture. They shrink from destroying, preferring to construct new strata on top. You can find traces of Carolthas in works that are over 1,000 years old. Some buildings, like the Royal Palace, are of unequaled complexity. But the city also incorporates more primitive districts. And there must be underground areas as a result of all these piles.
What happened here?
As far as I understand it, the elfin army was caught unaware by powerful magic that buried them under ice in an instant.
They didn't stand a chance.
And how could they? Such magic requires the presence of a very powerful sorcerer, someone on the order of an Ice Lord. They rarely take to the battlefield, but when they do, all hope is lost. Rumor here has it that it was the work of Blackfrost.
Who is this Blackfrost?
Don't tell me that you don't know the name.
Don't take me for an idiot. I know what he is, but that doesn't really help much, does it?
He's one of the seven. He's known for his craftiness, his guile. He prefers using magic rather than his armies. In the past, he used to be more discreet. But for 2 years now, he's been leading the Deadwalkers' assaults. and is regularly seen in the front lines.
What changed?
I don't know. The Ice Lords Alliance is a delicate balance. It is possible that this is the result of an internal power struggle. He has certain abilities that make him fit for the role. Black Frost is without a doubt very effective. Just look at the destruction around us.
Let's change the subject. Later.
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
Can I have a look at your stock?
A good day to you, mercenary.
Mercenary.
How did you manage to make it through the battle?
Bit of luck, just like with everyone who survived. I'd pulled guard duty so many times in a row that I was sent on R&R. If you really want to know, I was in a steam room when the attack came, having a really hot bath. It was horrible. The deathly silence that fell on the city just like that, with just that awful cracking of ice. Anyway, I jumped into my uniform and ran like crazy until I found my commander. And now here I am. Nothing really heroic about it, I'm afraid.
What can you tell me about your commander?
I hardly know him. I wasn't in his unit. As far as I know, he wasn't that high up, but he's the highest ranking officer we have left. Anyway, I have to admit that he managed to bring us together, set up camp, and get a bit of cohesion going in us fugitives. That's not too bad.
How are things going in the camp?
Bah, we're short of everything and morale's not great. But we're together and alive. And most of us are really pissed off. In a way, you could say everything's fine. Even if I heard that the survivors from the human army were kicking up a bit of a fuss.
I'm leaving.
Good day, even if the expression isn't necessarily appropriate. Can I help you?
I have some questions I'd like to ask you. Can you tell me more about the battle?
Battle? I don't really think you could call it that. We got wiped off the field. A defeat they'll be singing about in 1,000 years, if there's still anyone left to sing. Just when our troops were getting ready to take the Dead Walker's assault, that monster Black Frost appeared at their head. And in a flash, the Estelduin left its banks and came down on the city, then froze most of our troops under these huge blocks of ice. Not many survived, and our city, well, you can see for yourself.
How did you manage to survive?
I guess that's the advantage of being a smith. The fireplaces protected me, and I had the time to escape before the undead showed up. Without my equipment, unfortunately.
Do you know the prince personally?
I've done business with His Highness, yes, but I wouldn't say I really know him. I was honored enough to forge the first suit of armor that the king gave him. But I guess you're not really interested in the past. I can tell you that he hasn't let up since the war started. Several times after he came back to Carlthus, I've repaired his equipment, and from what I've seen, he must have been in the thick of things. I suppose he's our ruler now, as his father, may his soul reach the jewel, is dead.
What can you tell me about the king?
What do you want to know? He was lost in the battle, unfortunately. He was a great king, wise and cautious. Maybe too much so if you can believe what's happening to us these days. I guess that despite everything, we should be grateful to him that we are the last to fall.
Where's the elven army?
Army? What army? Our forces were decimated by the ice, and more died after that, killed by the undead or by despair. As for those who are still here, their equipment is battered, and I can't do a thing. What can an army hope to do like that?
Do you know Relmar?
Do I know him? He's a legend for us. His repute has grown since this war began. But to be honest, it wasn't always this way. He robbed so many convoys and carts, every craftsman and merchant hated him, including me. But how can we keep hating him now? In the end, he was right.
Let's talk about something else. Show me what you have to sell.
Alas, not much. I'm missing so much equipment, but have a look. You might find something you like. I have nothing to say to you, mercenary. You want to follow these gutless elves? That's your choice, not ours. Now leave us!
I wish I could go out on a recon, but the captain says I have to stay here.
Huh. If I knew how messed up everything was gonna be. You know what a pain in the ass it was hauling my cart here?
I bet. But we're lucky you followed us. We could do with a good smith.
Yeah, well, seeing what's left of the village, it's not like I had a choice. And with you around, business is better than ever. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon.
Let me see what you've made this time.
What is it, Vulcan?
I wanted to ask you. The Blades who were in the city, do you think they made it?
I hope so. I really hope so. After all, they shouldn't have been taking part in the battle. With a bit of luck, they weren't in the front lines when the ice wave struck. Generally, the Ice Lords don't kill those they capture. They like to keep their prisoners close by. Let's hope that our lads are amongst them, and maybe we can free them.
What do you think of this situation?
The same as I always thought, that all of this fuss has made absolutely no difference. We are in the shite, and the only sensible thing to do is get the hell out of here as quick as possible.
You don't think we have any chance of winning?
How can you ask yourself that question, standing in front of this devastation? Either you're blind or stupid. Good God, a whole army was decimated in the blink of an eye.
Do you know Caronthas?
I came here a long time ago, at the beginning of the war. We hoped at the time that the elves would help us. I was soon disavowed of that little fantasy. There they were, all safe and sound in their city, totally disinterested in taking any risk for any other races. I didn't stay long. When I learned that there was a battle brewing, and that the last of the human armies were gathering here, I sent a couple of our lads hoping to recruit some good men.
Let's change the subject. I have to go. Edwin, I need to speak to you.
What can I do for you?
I would like to ask you a few questions. I always hear people talking about the World Heart. What exactly is it?
First, forget all the children's stories about a friendly force for good, or its mythical dimension. The World Heart is very real. It is above all a source of power. It is from there that magic comes, as well as certain energies necessary for the proper functioning of our world. These energies can be captured and used. That is what magicians do. In their own way, each draws his power from the World Heart.
The demon insists we must purify it. That mean anything to you?
It's a good bet it is referring indirectly to the Ice Lords. As you know, those magicians have access to immeasurable power. This power has an origin and a cost. They drew it from the World Heart with a veracity that is truly limitless. Each of the Ice Lord's palaces has a portal linking it to the source. Imagine leeches sucking away endlessly on the energy which feeds them. To purify it, you'd have to rid the World Heart of all those leeches.
So all we have to do is go to this place nobody knows and clean out the all-powerful magical parasites. Sounds like a plan to me. Aren't you cold like that?
Is that your polite way of suggesting I'm indecently dressed?
I was simply concerned about your health.
Oh, how touching. But after having spent nights on end, trapped in a cage in the middle of the swamps, I can assure you that catching a cold is not highest on the list of things I worry about.
We're going to try to take back the town. Any suggestions?
Yes, of course. You'll need to locate a unicorn, a few leprechauns, and perhaps a fairy or two. They are your last, best hope for retaking the town.
So you're saying it's impossible?
You catch on quickly. The might of the entire elven army was swept away in a few minutes. The red scribes and freeborn blades are only a few dozen strong. Be realistic. Your allies are disintegrating. You'd be better off fleeing this place.
And then what? Wait for the war to be lost? Put off dying another month or two until the Deadwalker army finds us?
You could hide yourself and learn how to control your demon. I could help you and speed your progress.
No way. I'm not gonna leave the others to die.
This incomprehensible affection for lost causes is going to be the death of you one day. But you could learn a few things in combat, I suppose.
What happened at Caroldas? Have you ever seen that before?
Wait until your enemies have gathered and then take them by surprise using magic. The attack on this city bears the mark of Black Frost. To cast a spell capable of freezing a river, he would have to be here in person. It's possible that he's still in the area. He could be your key to the World Heart. Find him and eliminate him, and the door to your goal will open.
Thanks.
The Knight knows this region well. He came here once before while he was protecting a delegation from the Alliance on the way to visit with the King of the Elves. He would like to reconnoiter the area. He thinks he can find things that would be of great use to his friend.
If you think you can find something useful, go ahead. But remember, the position of the camp must stay secret, and try to come back in one piece. Hey, Buffalo. I see nobody's managed to kill you yet.
Not before I've seen you blown up by one of your toys.
How's the company doing?
If you were to spend less time hanging around with your new friends, you'd know. It's not wine and roses. Already there weren't many of us, and now it looks like our only hope of success in this goddamn war is lying over there, colder than my granny's tomb. We can't last too long in this situation. The captain has to decide to make a move.
I reckon the Deadwalker army will find us before we have the chance to desert. Have you had time to talk to the human soldiers?
Yes, but they didn't say much. I don't think they trust us, or the Red Scribes, or anyone for that matter. They were just as stupid as we were. They thought they were going to join up with a great army to be safe. As you can imagine, they're a little disappointed.
Do you think they'll stay?
I don't think they're in any mood to fight. Once they've seen to their wounded, they'll be out of here the first chance they get.
What do you think happened here?
That we are no more than fucking insects to those bastard Ice Lords. Just one of them was able to wipe out this city with magic. We have no choice if we follow the rules. We have to find another way. Maybe your little flame problem could be a solution.
For now, we know nothing.
Tell you what, if you save our asses, I'll buy a round of drinks every day for the rest of my life.
I knew I needed some kind of motivation. I'm going.
Greetings, mercenary. I hope you're here to help us defeat the Deadwalkers.